Today, the hair removal industry is a multi-billion-dollar global machine. We pluck, we wax, we thread, and we laser, all to chase a standard of completely hairless, dolphin-smooth skin that we've been told is the baseline for femininity. But long before modern lasers existed, women in the 1920s were promised a miracle. A painless, permanent, scientifically backed cure for the embarrassing disease of facial hair. All they had to do was sit in a mahogany chair, place their chin on a rest, and let a highly trained operator flip a switch for 4 minutes. No pain, no redness, just a slight humming sound. They were told it was magic. They were told it was safe. They weren't told that the machine was blasting their unprotected faces with a massive, concentrated dose of X-ray radiation. Welcome back to Let's Make It Interesting. Today we are uncovering the horrific story of the Tricho System, how the beauty industry invented a flaw, weaponized a deadly new technology, and left thousands of women permanently disfigured, all in the name of a smooth upper lip. Before we talk about the machine, we have to talk about how the insecurity was built. Prior to the 1910s, women's body hair wasn't really a topic of conversation. The Victorian era kept women covered from chin to ankle. But as fashion shifted and sleeveless dresses became the trend, advertisers saw a massive untapped market. In 1915, Gillette introduced the Milady Decollete, the first razor specifically marketed to women. But they couldn't just sell a razor, they had to sell the need for a razor. So advertisers launched an aggressive, calculated psychological campaign. Suddenly, body and facial hair wasn't just natural biology. It was branded as humiliating, unhygienic, and masculine. Advertisements in major magazines told women that even a shadow of hair on their upper lip or arms would make them unlovable and socially exiled. They took a completely normal human feature and pathologized it. Women were desperate for a solution. Plucking was agonizing, and early chemical depilatories literally burned the skin off their faces. The market was begging for a painless, permanent fix, and a man named Dr. Albert Geyser was ready to sell it to them. Dr. Albert Geyser was a physician who had been experimenting with X-rays since their discovery. At the time, X-rays were the shiny new toy of the medical world. People didn't fully understand radiation yet. They just knew it had mysterious, invisible power. Geyser noticed a side effect of prolonged X-ray exposure: hair loss. Seeing dollar signs, he developed an X-ray machine specifically for cosmetic hair removal. He called it the Cornell tube, claiming he had altered the X-rays to remove the harmful radiation while keeping the hair-destroying properties. This, of course, was a complete biological impossibility. You cannot extract the radiation from an X-ray. But the public didn't know that. In 1924, he launched the Tricho System. He didn't sell these machines to hospitals, he leased them to beauty parlors across the United States. To make it sound legitimate, he mandated that the operators take a short training course to become Tricho experts. The marketing was a masterpiece of scientific gaslighting. Glossy brochures promised a safe, modern, and scientific triumph. Women would sit in front of a little window on a mahogany cabinet, feeling absolutely nothing, while the machine silently microwaved their hair follicles to death. And at first, it worked. After a few sessions, the hair fell out. Women were thrilled. The Tricho System became a massive, lucrative empire. But radiation doesn't collect its debts immediately. It waits. The latency period for severe X-ray damage is anywhere from 6 months to several years. By the late 1920s, the women who had celebrated their smooth skin began noticing something terrifying. It started with a deep, unnatural wrinkling of the skin. Then came the telangiectasia, spider veins bursting across their cheeks and chins. The skin thickened, becoming tough and leathery, a condition doctors called Röntgenray skin. Then came the ulcers, deep, agonizing lesions that refused to heal. By the early 1930s, dermatologists' offices were flooded with women suffering from horrific facial disfigurement. The radiation had completely destroyed the cellular structure of their faces, and the worst was yet to come. These ulcers frequently turned into squamous cell and basal cell carcinomas. Cancer. Because the treatments were targeted right at the jawline, upper lip, and neck, many women had to undergo devastating surgeries to remove the tumors, often losing parts of their lips, cheeks, or jaws. Many died from the spreading cancer. So where was the FDA? Where was the government intervention? In the 1920s, the FDA had absolutely no authority over medical devices or cosmetics. The beauty industry was the Wild West. Corporations could literally sell you radioactive poison, and there was no regulatory body to stop them. When the medical community finally started sounding the alarm, publishing furious articles in the Journal of the American Medical Association, Dr. Geyser simply denied it. He claimed the women's injuries were caused by other factors and insisted his machine was perfectly safe. But as the lawsuits began to pile up, the Tricho empire didn't face a massive public reckoning. They just quietly folded. The parent company went bankrupt to avoid paying the victims. The machines were quietly unplugged and smuggled out the back doors of beauty salons. There was no justice. There were no massive payouts. The men who profited off the systemic poisoning of thousands of women simply walked away with their money, leaving a generation of women to die in agonizing pain, all because advertisers convinced them that a shadow on their upper lip made them unworthy of love. The Tricho System is a dark chapter, but the psychology behind it hasn't changed. Every day, the beauty industry invents new flaws to sell us new, scientifically backed cures. It makes you wonder, what are we normalizing today that we'll be horrified by in 50 years? If this story made you as angry as it made me, hit the subscribe button and like this video. It tells the algorithm that these hidden histories matter. Drop a comment below with your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one.